webinar series. I'm excited to have everyone here. Please feel free to use the chat to share your questions and any comments or other resources that you have that you would like to share. As the other panelists are sharing out, I will be monitoring that chat and chiming in to share out any questions that do come up. But first, I want to introduce myself. I'm Rachael Mann. I'm the Director of Member Engagement for NCLA. And I will be your host today, but we'll also be sharing out some tools at the end of this webinar. And I'm going to ask each of our panelists to introduce themselves as well and to share where they're from and what their role is. So Dee, if you want to start for us.
Sure thing. My name is Dee Lanier. I am originally from Southern California, Los Angeles area. Los Angeles proper, I got to say that right. But I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. So you're never going to hear me say that I'm from Charlotte, but I live here. I work with EdTech Team. I'm a director for the Dynamic Learning Project, which is a partnership with our company, Google for Education and Digital Promise. And I mentor tech coaches across the country, 33 tech coaches in various regions.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Dee. Thanks for being with us. And next we'll introduce Tisha.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tisha Richmond. I am a tech integration specialist in Southern Oregon. I also am a career and technical ed teacher of 25 years. And I wrote a book called Make Learning Magical. So I am super honored and excited to be on the panel today. So thanks for inviting me.
Well, thanks for being here. And then we'll have Eddie introduce himself.
Yeah, hi guys. My name is Eddie Small. I'm the CT Innovation Coach at Central 9 Career Center in Greenwood, Indiana, just south of Indianapolis. I obviously have a set of teachers that I impact with some teaching and learning and coaching them throughout the year, but really excited to share some of the tools we've been using over the last couple weeks. So thanks for inviting me.
All right, well, thank you. And so we're going to have a little bit of a different format than we have on our past webinar series. We've had lots of requests for folks to actually demonstrate the different tools that they can use for remote learning. There's so many great resources out there, but how do we use them? So we're going to be starting with Dee, who's going to share with us Solventime and Pear Deck.
I am. I still even see people hopping in, which is really, really cool. So Solventime, just to let you know, is an analog game or activity. It's really blended learning. It's to be utilized in the classroom. There are multiple cards that are given per group. And it's really following through the process to think through a problem to solve. So that's the way it's originally designed, but here we are, COVID-19, trying to figure out how to do things remotely. And so I thought, how about we make this into not only a presentation tool, but maybe even something that can be self-guided or directed by an educator for students and others to experience. So I thought that makes a lot of sense. Let's go ahead and do that. And for that, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a preview of something. I'm still working on it. So if there are problems or things that need to be worked out, thank you so much for your feedback and the ways that you will definitely help me, right? Hint, hint, in fixing that. But I am going to open up a Pear Deck that I've already created, and it is ready to go. And you can join on, and it is self-guided, but I'm going to walk through it so that you know what you're doing, or at least what I'm sharing, and then you can figure out if you would like to use it exactly as is, or if you would like to make modifications for your students. So this is using Pear Deck, and if you're unfamiliar with Pear Deck, it is an add-on in Google Slides, and I've already created this one, and I made this a student guided or self-guided presentation. So I will give you guys the link so that you can do this on your own and that you can jump in and you can have fun and all that. But I'm just walking through what this experience looks like. So when you go through this, you would, or the students could, navigate on their own, see the slides. The first thing that they would see whenever my internet decides to wake up and show you nice things are the instructions. Understand how this works. There's a fun little video that's there. Have lots of resources on the Solventime website. But then you would kind of go through and say, okay, I'm going to self-identify. Am I an educator or am I a student? I'm an educator in this case. I'm going to keep it moving and let you know that this activity in this form is set up so that it can be completed in around 15 minutes. Now, when we think about remote learning and we think about taking something that we would normally be able to control in a classroom environment and then putting it on the internet, I know that the number one temptation is to figure out how can we completely replicate the same exact experience. And I also know that in many cases that is impossible. So some things are missing when you move to a remote environment, but then also some things are gained. So I'd like to at least speak on a couple of those things. So if you see here, I say, get your timer ready for each step. Now there is something that is missing because in the controlled environment of a classroom, I can have a timer that is big and large for everyone to see, and each of those small groups could just follow my lead. But something that is gained is in doing this remotely is that this really is student paced. So in many ways, these times are just suggestions. And even if I want to have things set up so that students can do this in small groups, I recognize that I have to offer flexibility because we're working remotely. But the first question that is asked is what is a problem? And then because again, I'm limited because I'm not in the classroom setting and I don't have cards to pass out, I decided to figure out how to use another tool called wheelofnames.com. And in doing that, I sort of replicated what it would feel like to have a card randomly at your table. So this question comes up: what is a problem that affects a family member? So normally in small groups, but maybe individually, because this is like the flexibility I have to give, I think of what is a problem that affects a family member. And let's say I'm thinking just through the normal topic of COVID-19. For me, a problem that affects a family member, I actually have several family members that are of the at-risk population age and with different health conditions. So I can think through some of those things, but so on and so forth. I just want you to see that I can set up a pair deck in order to go through the same experience. And though, again, some of the things may be lost because I'm not in a collaborative group, I'm not in the classroom, I don't have a big timer, some things are gained because I'm at least being reminded that I cannot solve a problem without at least seeking to understand what the problem really entails. So you can see this first question: identify and summarize a real and relevant problem. Great thing with Pear Deck, students can type in their responses. And on the back end, me as the educator, I can see what they responded with, and they can keep going. And you'll see that there are 5 steps in Solve in Time. And the second step is research. And this is, again, going to replicate the experience of having a random card. So the research question for this particular person may be what caused the problem. But there are several questions that they could have possibly chosen depending on whatever the randomizer does. Again, this is kind of duplicating or replicating the experience of getting a random card. But we're just looking at this problem in different ways and using our time wisely in answering these questions. And again, we're going through another part of this process. I know that students love little things like spinners. It adds to the fun factor. So who knows a lot about the problem may have to start thinking through some of these questions and responding as best as possible. And the great thing is because I know that these responses are going into a place that me as the educator, I can look back on. I know if there's a student that I may want to push to be more thoughtful about some of the responses they're given in comparison to maybe another student. So maybe a student is just answering these questions really, really simply. Use empathy and compassion to answer that question. And the question was, who knows a lot about the problem? And then they just say something like me. I can look back at that response and maybe reach out to that student and say, you had 3 minutes to think more thoughtfully through that question. Who are some more people that you come to mind of people who know a lot about that problem? So I can engage them that way. And then we're going into the fourth one. And here is where I'm really starting to go down the lane and really push them to start thinking, okay, I need to start thinking about solutions to this problem. So in this case, it was, how will you try and solve the problem? So they can just think of that simple answer. there's a lot of more questions here, like who are some people that can help you solve the problem? So again, the student is going down the pathway, which is randomly selected for them, but this is also replicating this experience of the card activity that would have 6 cards per question. And then comes the very, very, very fun part. After they respond to that question, they think through that thoughtfully. This is where things get really interesting. And this is really great for small groups, but I may even tap into the creativity of an individual student. If they think, okay, I've come up with a solution after thinking through all of those questions, and then now I've randomly selected, oh, I get to choose between writing something, videoing something, doing something by audio, or even designing something or creating something graphically. So again, I get to tap into the creativity and maybe even the joy factor of a student. They say, wait, I went through this very intensive critical thinking exercise, but it culminated in me being able to be creative. So I am all in. And again, it is not exactly the same experience trying to do this remotely, but it can be done. And I even have right here a link out directly to my website that shows the over 140 creative apps that they could choose from. Let's say if they said, hey, I want to do something by photo or design, it's going to filter that down to 62 options. And let's say I want to use my mobile phone. Now I have this down to 31, and let's keep it easy and light for me. So now I have 18 different options to choose from. And you may be thinking, that's way too much. Kids don't have time for that. But remember, because we're doing this remotely, this 5-minute time here, it's arbitrary. I know that the kids are going to use whatever amount of time that they want to, and that's completely fine. I don't have to act like I am controlling this environment fully. So I'm going to make sure that everyone here has access to this slide deck along with all of the links going to the multiple wheels and all of that through Pear Deck. But I also want you to know that you can change any of these links. You do have permission to do that. So if you see here, oh, great, that's an excellent idea. Let's have the students respond and share in Flipgrid, but you want to create your own Flipgrid so that you see those responses there. Feel free to do that. And last but not least, I welcome all of you to check out a lot of the free resources that are on solveintime.com, which is my personal passion project and Google Innovator project. And thank you for your time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dee. And I have to say, this is something that I've used in professional development. I've used it at conferences. And it's such a fantastic tool for the design thinking and just working through problems. I actually mentioned too, we were having one of the tennis leagues that I'm on. We were having some complications just in the lineups for our tennis matches, and I actually mentioned to them that that we needed to do a solve in time meeting to work through it. And right after that, we ended up having the leagues canceled. But it is fantastic. So thank you so much for being with us and sharing this out.
I really appreciate that.
Well, and I was fortunate enough to get the actual hard decks of the cards right before the factories closed in China. So those are once that opens back up again, I definitely recommend getting the ones that you don't have to cut out or laminate yourself, because they're fantastic. And they even come signed. Dee will sign your box for you.
I will. And the update actually for this group, this is the first group to hear that, yeah, very, very soon. Like, we're putting in production order tomorrow.
Yay. Oh, that's so awesome. Woohoo. Yep. You heard it here first, guys. All right, excellent. And now I'm going to have Eddie Small, and actually Dee, Eddie, and myself, we all met in Indiana last April at an EdTech team event. So thanks for being here, Eddie. And if you want to go ahead and share your screen and walk us through some free tools.
Yeah, no problem. I hate that I always have to follow up Dee on this, but I love his solve in time stuff. It's so cool. And he gave me an overview, I think, when we were at Indiana last time, and I just get really excited about it because I think it's really applicable in CTE. I have the opportunity of showing you a tool that I've been using for about 3 years, and Most of you don't know who I am, but I can tell you that I'm really passionate about always finding the next big audio engagement tool, video engagement tool, any way that I can get teachers' faces on online and virtual content, I'm going to try to do it. So Screencastify has been around for a really long time. And if I say Screencastify enough, you might be like, oh yeah, I think I've heard of that before. Or I've used that all the time. It's my go-to screen recording app when I'm using Google Chrome or using my Mac or PC. I'm going to ask you to try this alternative. And I think you're going to find out why pretty quickly once I start using it. It is super simple and super easy to instruct teachers on how to use it for their online applications. And I think it's one of the first things that I look at when I look at a tool. I have like this, I don't know, like this little checklist of things that I go through in my brain that says, okay, is it pretty? You know, is the user interface, you know, easy to use? Is there a low barrier of entry? Do I have to worry about my teachers learning all of this new stuff? And this was one of those things where I could tell them to quickly download it as a Google extension or download it to their device and make 3 or 4 clicks, and they already have content to their kids. So let me show you how it works and a little bit about the tool. It is loom.com. It used to be useloom.com. Eventually, they paid somebody enough money to let them have loom.com probably, but loom.com, and they're fairly young. I started using it right when it came out. So it's about 4 or 5 years old. And it is a Windows application, a Mac application now. Those didn't used to exist, but they do now. A Chrome extension, which is what I'm going to show you today because it's the most applicable, kind of creates the most consistent environment that everybody will be in. They also now have an iOS app, which is really cool. You can get Loom for free by using single sign-on with Google, and I know most of our corporations do that. I was kind of looking into their COVID-19 response, and you guys will all be happy to hear this, but Loom Pro, their Pro version that allows you to edit, and everything I show you here will be on the Pro version because it's free for educators, and I've had it since the start. So this was one of the key things that I saw today that I was really excited about because I knew they had made it free for educators, but I didn't know how long. A lot of these companies are creating, you know, 3 months or 6 months worth of their free versions. They've got it in writing here. Loom Pro will be free forever for all educators, which is awesome. So, and it'll walk you through what you need to do if you're a teacher, and even students can use Loom, which is great. The first place I always start with this extension is going to the Chrome Web Store, asking people to search the Chrome Web Store for Loom. It'll be the first one that pops up. It's this guy right here. So you can add it to your Chrome as a Google extension. Again, there are download links on the website to allow you to download it in any of those other environments. But if you check out the Google extension, they will actually attach it right here up top. And I think Rachel's going to talk about extensions more in general. So if you have questions about what a Chrome extension is, she's going to go into them. But in this case, I'm going to use it actually on their COVID page. So anything that I'm showing, whether it's on my desktop or anything like that, I can sign in with that Chrome extension. And it just disappeared on me, but we'll get it back here. It goes into the, there we go. So I'm going to click the extension. It'll ask me to single sign on with Google, which I'm going to do. It kind of keeps everything housed. Normally when you're using Screencastify or other screencasting apps, it downloads to your computer or it's going to download into your Google Drive. Loom actually houses everything inside their platform, and I'll show you why in just a second, but it's not hard to get it out of their platform and where you need to use it. But they do have their own platform, and I'll show you why when we're finished here. Really easy to show educators and administrators here. They have 3 options. I can do screen and camera, which is everything you see on the screen, plus my camera down here to the bottom left. I also have screen only, so I could get rid of the camera and it will use my avatar with my single sign-on there at the bottom left-hand side. So if you're somebody that maybe you just woke up and you've got to share something really quickly with your staff, or you've got to share something to your students and you're not really, you're kind of a little bit of camera shy, that's okay too. So you can do screen only, or if you want to do camera only, if it's just an announcement you're going to make, you know, with yourself and you're not going to show anything on the screen, you can do camera only. So you have those options. My favorite is screen and camera because I like to demo a lot of stuff or troubleshoot with my teachers. We just did, we got Canvas this year, so we're doing a lot of Canvas integration. So this is typically the instance that you're going to see me in, showing them how to walk through some of those troubleshooting tips with my face down here at the bottom. If you're super vain, you can make the camera bigger. by scrolling over that and selecting a larger size camera image. Depending on, you know, if you're looking extra fresh that day, you can make the camera just a little bit bigger so people can see you. You also have the option to do the full desktop or the current tab, so it will just record what's being shown on this tab, or your full desktop. You'll see here that it's going to use microphone to audio, and that's it. There aren't any other, you know, settings or the tutorials you have to go through with your staff to kind of show them how to use it, which is great. But also when they're talking to students and they're trying to get things out quickly, they only have a few options to worry about. There is an advanced option. So if you have multiple camera sources, if you have multiple microphone sources, you can change those. You can change the photo for screen only. You can do a recording countdown, things like that. But to be honest, I never have teachers really dig into those advanced options. They just kind of sit here with the main 2 or 3 that they have here. Now down here at the bottom, you can cancel the recording with the X. You can pause the recording during the recording, which is really nice. And then you can start the recording. So I'm going to start our recording and I'll show you what that looks like. It's going to say, you know, the whole authentication. Can we share your screen? Absolutely. You'll see a countdown. You'll get ready. And then at this point, you are making your Loom video. So I might be talking about, you know, something on the screen here. I'm, you know, showing a Google slide presentation. And what I really love about Loom is the key features here. One would be the pause. So, you know, daughter walks into the room because we're working from home and I've got to stop and okay, I'll get you a milk or a granola bar and then come back to the computer, which is really awesome. And then when I'm ready, I will hit resume and that will resume the recording once more. If something were to happen and I don't have the opportunity to pause, I will show you how you can edit directly in Loom, which is a really nice feature. But this is by far the killer feature of the tool Loom. By clicking the check mark here at the bottom saying that you're finished with the recording, I'm not doing anything else. I click the check mark, it loads up in the Loom platform, but I'm gonna go to my email. Again, I haven't done anything else. I haven't touched anything else. I'm gonna compose an email and inside my window here, I can paste that in and it embeds it right into the email. So the quickness of a teacher emailing me and saying, you know, Eddie, I'm having trouble getting this student logged in. I'm like, give me just a second. I can get on and see the student's account. Okay, what the student's going to need to do is this, this, and this. Maybe a quick 1 minute, 1.5 minute video. All I do is load up the response email to them and just paste that email right inside or paste that right inside because it automatically copies. Once you are finished, it will automatically copy that link into your clipboard. So I don't have to do anything else. Once I finish and hit that check mark, it is a paste into whatever platform I need it to be. Canvas, paste. Google Classroom, paste. And then those students can load that up and watch, or those educators can load that up and watch. And again, super easy for people to kind of dive right in. They do have some really good features inside their platform that kind of takes this tool, I think, kind of to the next level, which is the editing feature. They have an option that you can go in and now trim your video. So I can say from, you know, 10 seconds in, I could start a trim. And then from 10 to 18 is when the dog ran in and knocked over my water and I got to clean that up. But my Loom was still running and I didn't want to finish. So here is the portion in red is the portion that we're going to cut out. Now I'm ready to do that. So I'm going to come over here and hit remove. So you'll see anything in red that I trim, I am removing from that video. So I've taken some seconds off here. I've taken some time off here. And when I'm done, I'm going to publish it. And then we get this nice little puppy dog. And he says, Luna is snipping at your video. Please be patient. And when that's done, that video is now edited to remove. You see I had 30 seconds before, now I have 18 seconds. The links don't change. So if a student clicks it now, they will reflect the 18-second video. They won't reflect the 30-second video that I shared earlier. So as soon as you're done making a change, it's reflected. I can download this video to Google Drive or to any other platform that you're using. I can duplicate the video if I want to make further edits or only show a certain portion to further students. I can delete the video right here from the platform, and then I can share the video. And again, if your link doesn't get copied over, or you accidentally copy something else without sharing it, you can copy the link right here, big blue button right in the middle. You can also add, just like in YouTube, where you add So I'm going to pause that. As you add comments, you can physically come in here and create timed comments, and then those markers will show up inside the video as it is recorded, which is really cool, or as it's watched. So if I come in here and made a comment, check this portion out, it will timestamp it at 5 seconds, and it will also put that tag right in at 5 seconds on the video. So now if I'm coming in here and I'm like, oh, okay, I can just click right there, it will start the video at that 0.5 seconds, wherever I've set that. I've created a ton of videos, and most of them I don't title correctly, or I don't have them organized inside the Loom platform, because I spend an awful lot of time just answering emails about, you'll see a lot of these like course modules specifically inside people's classes, just because it's a really good platform for me to be able to reach out to teachers immediately and say, okay, here's what's going on. This is how we fix it. So that is loom.com. And again, I think it's super easy and impactful to use that tool. I'm the type of guy that is going to be like, if there's any way we can get a teacher's face or instructor's face or administrator's face in front of their staff, and this is the time to do it, right now that we're all stuck at home, then we ought to find the tool to do it. And I think Loom is one of the easiest and best tools out there to use for that. So thank you for letting me share that. I love Loom. As you can tell, I'm really excited about it. It's been around for a little while, but initially it was one of those things where I was like, yeah, that looks pretty decent. And then I started using it. I was like, wait a minute, I just copy and paste into my email and I'm done. Let's go. That got me excited. So thanks again for letting me share, and hopefully you guys got something out of Loom.
Oh, that's fantastic. And it looks like we have a question for you. How do you go about getting the Loom Pro version for free as referenced with the COVID-19 pandemic?
Yeah, the link is in. I can share the link on the video or on the chat here. It was actually in that COVID response. So.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. And just a reminder to everyone, this is being recorded. So I encourage you to share this out with other CTE directors, with your teachers, and folks that can benefit from this, because you have the demo right here. So you don't have to worry about demoing it to them. You can share this out and have all of this expertise passed on to other folks. And feel free to invite other people to come to these NCLA webinars. We'll continue to have these throughout the year. And Jennifer Fisk says that she just downloaded it and it automatically said that she was a teacher and it gave her the pro version. So the perks for being a teacher, right? That's good stuff. All right, thank you so much. And this is I have it on my browser. Eddie shared it with me last year, and it's a fantastic tool. So although I learned some extra tips today on how to do the editing piece, so thank you for that. All right, and up next we have my friend Tisha Richmond, who was the last time that I ate in a restaurant was with her in Salem, Oregon. So good memories there, but she's going to be talking to us and sharing Flipgrid.
Yes, oh my goodness, that was such a coincidental meeting too. That's so fun that we have that memory. And yeah, it was way too long since I've actually had a restaurant food. So I'm missing that. I'm missing you. So I love Flipgrid so much. It's an incredible tool. And it's, I would say, one of the digital tools that I share most in my district as a tech integration specialist, because I think right now, especially in this time of COVID-19, we're looking at ways that we can connect with our students, but we really need to try to find those ways that we can connect asynchronously, because it's hard to find time in the day to have those live chats. You know, teachers are trying to schedule them, and students are having a hard time connecting to all of the Zoom chats and the Google Meet chats that are open. So finding those asynchronous ways to connect with our kids is really, really powerful. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I'm going to bring you to flipgrid.com. So you are just going to go to flipgrid.com. And one thing that I love about Flipgrid is that when Microsoft bought Flipgrid, I think it was a couple years ago. It went to completely free. So there is no premium version. It is completely free. And can you all see my screen okay?
No.
Oh, you can't?
No.
Okay, here we go. All right, so Flipgrid, when you go to the flipgrid.com site, you are going to go to educator sign up. And when you sign up as an educator, you're going to sign in with your educator Google account. And once you sign up, you will then, from then on out, go to the educator login. So I'm going to go ahead and click on educator login. And it is going to bring me to my Flipgrid account here. And one thing that I love about Flipgrid is there are so many incredible features within it that you can use in endless ways with your students. And again, that's one of the reasons why I share it so often in my district, is that it doesn't matter if you are a K-1 teacher all the way through high school, whether you are ELA or music or ceramics or CTE, you can find ways to use this amazing tool. So I am going to concentrate on 3 of the different features within Flipgrid, because there's a ton you can do, but for sake of time, I want to just focus on those 3 things. First of all, within Flipgrid, you can create videos that you can share directly with your students or your staff. And what I love about creating Flipgrid videos is that you can really personalize them and add a lot of these kind of fun features that really add not only a creativity, but also have these accessibility features as well. So here on this page are my shorts videos that I have already created. If I go up here to record a short, the video is going to pop up, and you can see on the top right that it's going to give me 10 minutes to record this video. Flipgrid used to limit recordings to 5 minutes, and since COVID-19, they've increased that to 10, which is incredible, and really is, I think, for a tutorial video, is probably as long as you would want to go. Now when you're looking at my screen, you're gonna see that my mouth and my voice may not match up. I promise you it will in the video. I think it's something that happens when we're doing the Zoom and the video together. Down here, right below the time, is this sticky note. And what is really great about these sticky notes, when either you're recording or your students are recording Flipgrid videos, they're going to be able to write little notes to themselves to remind them of what they want to say. So you might have, point 1 is here, and you're going to write what that first point is that you want to talk about. You can add another post-it note and have another point. And these are not going to show up in the video. They are going to disappear. So you can see them as the video recorder, but your students or whoever's watching the video will not. And you can X them out as you're done with those points. So I kind of think of those sticky notes as like your index card when you're giving a speech. Down here on the bottom, there are all of these different little additions you can add to your video. So you can filter by changing these little buttons, and it changes the filter in the background. It also will allow you to do pixelated view. So if you have those students who might be a little camera shy and they don't want their face to be on camera, this is going to allow them to pixelate. And then you also can do a blackboard or a whiteboard. So if you want to maybe write out an equation, you want to talk about something that you would maybe write out on a whiteboard, you can use the whiteboard and blackboard feature to do that as well. And then there are this pencil tool is going to allow you to choose your color, and then you're going to be able to draw right on this screen. And right now I'm just using my mouse, but if you had a touch screen, then you'd be able to draw directly on the screen. If I wanted to turn that blackboard feature off, I turn it off. You also can add in text. So if I wanted to add in, it's going to write hi. I can write in my text and I can move it anywhere on the screen that I want. And I can also make it bigger or smaller. I can add emojis. So if I wanted to add anything that I want that is in the library, you can add to the screen. So maybe I wanted to point to something. I can click on the arrow and then that is going to show up here. And again, I can move it and I can change the size of that arrow. Also, I can insert a photo sticker. So let's say that I want to talk about something that I have an image of but maybe don't have in front of me. I can click on photo sticker and it's going to go to my files on my computer and I'd be able to grab whatever I want and bring it straight into that, that video. Also, this is something brand new. So if you have used Flipgrid maybe in the last year, but not recently, you may not know that there is a feature to do screen recording. So if you want to actually record your screen as you are talking, when you click on the record screen feature, you are going to be able to grab either the entire screen, the application, or the Chrome tab, and you'll be able to go directly in and share your screen and record it, which is an amazing feature that has not been there more than probably the last 2 or 3 weeks. So I love that. You also can, from this little tab here, upload a video that maybe you had already recorded and just want to bring it into Flipgrid, which is a nice feature as well. So when I want to start recording, I'm going to click this camera and I'm going to count, it's going to count down 3, 2, 1, and I start talking. When I'm done, I click the stop. Now, if I wanted to redo that video, I could redo it and it will let me do it over again. And you can also see that up here on the top, it's counted down. So I have only talked for 4 seconds, but this is going to indicate how much time that I have left. If I wanted to clear my screen at any point, I can go ahead and click clear here on the top. If I feel like my video is ready, I can go ahead and click next. 3, 2, 1, and then it's going to play that video back for me. If I want to edit that video, I can click on this video bar right here, and I can grab the video at the beginning or the end and delete any portion that I want to. And once I've made those changes, I click confirm. It will cut the video to whatever I have changed it to be. If I decided, oh my goodness, I created this video, but I forgot like the last step, or I forgot this last little piece that I want to say, I can actually go in and add more video and it will splice it together with the video that I've already created. Once I've done that, I click next. And then it's going to allow you to take a selfie. The thing that I love about this feature is, I don't know about you, but whenever I record a video, it always like captured the most awkward expression ever. So this allows me to take a selfie. And I could add, you know, sunglasses or hats or whatever I wanted to my picture if I wanted to. I click next. And then what it does is it processes that video and it pops it straight into my screen here. So once the video is here, then I can share it. And I'm going to show you an example with a video that I created earlier, so I can show you some of the accessibility features. So when I click on this video, it is going to bring up the video that I recorded, and it's going to show all of these different ways that you can share. So I can share through Remind. I can share directly through Google Classroom. I can share to Microsoft Teams. I can embed it on a website or wherever I'd want to embed, and I can download it directly. I can also share a QR code, which this is a really cool feature. If you share the QR code, your video becomes, it's like augmented reality. So if the QR code is on the wall, your video is just gonna pop up on your device like the video is playing on the wall, which is really, really cool. And then I can also just copy the link and share it that way. Now, 2 features that I love about this is that it has not only closed captioning, if I click on this button here, it also has the immersive reader. And the immersive reader is going to read back what I've said in not only the language that I'm speaking in, but it also will change it to a different language. So I'm going to go ahead and click on immersive reader. And if I click this play button, it's going to play back what I said in the video.
It's an incredible digital tool for learning.
So it'll read through the entire transcript. Now, if I go up here to reading preferences, I can translate the entire document. And my computer's freezing on me here. I can translate the document. Oh, I need to choose the language first. And it has all of these different languages. It even has 3 different dialects of Spanish. Click here, and then it translates the my words into the language of choice. So when I click play,
Flipgrid es una increíble herramienta digital para el aprendizaje.
it plays it back in that language. Now, if I wanted to speed up my voice or speed it down, probably speed it down because I'm a fast talker, I can use this tool here, and I can also change it to male if I want to.
Hay tantas maneras en
In addition, it's going to allow me to add syllable separations, nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs. So a lot of different things that you can do within this immersive reader, which really is wonderful, especially during this time of COVID-19, where maybe families that don't speak English are going to be watching these videos. They'll be able to have that help. And that button is going to show up in all of your videos for them. So that is what the shorts videos are. So I have been really sharing out in my district that this is a great way to do read alouds. It's a great way to do tutorial videos. My husband is a ceramics teacher, and he's been doing tutorial videos through Flipgrid and sharing it to Google Classroom. It's amazing. Now, another amazing feature, and I know I'm going to be short on time, but I at least want to show you what it is the My Grids. My Grids are basically like folders that you can create, that you can put assignments in, that allow you to share content, whether that's video or links or whatever you want to share. And then your students are going to reflect back to you or share their learning via video. So I'm going to give you an example. My husband teaches ceramics, and he has created this folder, which they call them grids, called ceramics. When I open up that folder, it is going to show you all of the different assignments, which they call topics, that he has created. So if I click on this first assignment, this is his assignment to his students. Find a mug online that would not be functional and create a video explaining what the issues are with the piece you chose. Include a picture of the piece in your video in at least one of the following terms: functional, non-functional, surface decoration, craftsmanship. Now you'll notice that the immersive reader is here as well. So if your students or families click on that link, it is going to do the exact same thing that I showed you in the shorts video. And then all of the videos that his students have created are going to pop up down here on the bottom of the screen. So if I click on this, I'll click on this video here. The student's video is going to show up, and then it's going to allow me to leave comments, and it also is going to allow me to give a video response back. It will even let me add my own grading rubric and be able to critique them on specific criteria that I choose. I can email this feedback, and it's going to go directly to their school email. The neat thing about this too is that when I want to go on to watch the next video, I just click this arrow and it's going to go on to that next video. And so you don't have to toggle back and forth, which is really nice as well. So to see what this would look like for students, if I click on this flip code, it is going to show me what this is going to look like when I share it with students. They're going to be logging in with their Google email. If you share the settings that way, you can decide on who you want to have this Flipgrid accessible to and how they're going to log in. And then this is what they're going to see. So very much the same, but instead of having all of the videos down below like it did for the teacher, they're going to see all of their peers' videos here, and they're going to be able to reflect and record their own video by clicking on that plus sign. And it is going to be the exact same features as it was for me when I created my shorts video. The main difference is that there is this little book here that is actually going to drop down the prompt that students are going to have to respond to. So it's really nice because oftentimes you forget, well, what am I supposed to say? But having that prompt there is going to allow them to have that in front of them. And you can select how long you want them to talk. So if you don't want them to talk for 10 minutes, you can change it from anywhere from 30 seconds all the way up to 10 minutes. And there are a lot of features that you can set as an educator to do that. So I'm not going to have time to go into exactly how to set up your grid and your assignments, but I want to show you, if you're thinking, okay, how could I do this, you know, with the people that I serve? If you go up here to the Disco library, there are so many ways that you can use Flipgrid. This is a library of ideas. There's 16,680 topics in the library. I can filter by grade level, and I can also filter by subject. So if I click Career and Technical Education, there are 82 topics that have already been created that I could use as assignments with my students. I could take them as my own, and I can alter them to fit the needs of my students or the people that I serve. So it's really, really an amazing platform. Again, it's completely free. There's so many things that you can do with it. So with that, I am going to turn it back over to Rachel because I am out of time.
Oh, well, that is fantastic. I haven't used Flipgrid in a while, so there's so many new features that I didn't realize were there. That's fantastic. You know, and one thing that I'll add to that is when I first started using Flipgrid, I would have students, if I were going to do a full day training with a group of CTSO students, I've never met them before, I would send out the link and have them do a 3-minute introduction. So that as soon as they walked in, I felt like I knew them. We had something to talk about because they would share something interesting about themselves or something, you know, a hobby or something that they liked. And one of the students shared with me that she recorded her video 17 times and that she was just tired. And at that point went ahead and submitted it. And I met Charlie Miller, who's the founder and developer of Flipgrid, at an ISTE conference. And I shared that with him. And he said, oh, that's nothing. He said that they're able to tell how many times it was re-recorded if they record from the app. And he said that there was a student who had recorded it over 100 times to get it right. And if you think about how seriously kids, they take it very seriously, which means that they're getting some really great practice with public speaking and communicating on a virtual platform. So, you know, that's just another plus. It's just that they're really, really into it and getting it just right.
Absolutely. Yes. So,
all right. Oh, go ahead.
No, I think it's an amazing tool, and I love to see all the ways that people are using it. It's fantastic.
Awesome stuff. And okay, I am going to share my screen and talk to you guys, share a little bit more about extensions. And I'm going to go with my entire screen because I do have a short PowerPoint piece for this. All right, here we go. Oh, wrong one. Hold on. All right, here we go. All right, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about extensions that are really useful, and they can be time savers and productivity tools. And but first I want to explain the difference between extensions and apps, because sometimes folks get these confused. But basically, extensions extend the functionality of your Google Chrome browser. So it's going to give you more functionality without having to go to another place. So when you are looking at apps, Apps are over in the right-hand corner, and you would have to click on the apps button to be able to see all your different apps. And this is what would show up. It would be different apps depending on what you've added to your Chrome. But for extensions, they're actually the if you look up in the right-hand corner, you see all of the different icons on the toolbar. Those are your extensions. And I've created a Wakelet collection of extensions that you can go to this website, and I'll actually go there and add the link to our browser just to save a little bit of time. Here we go. So when you go to that link, you're going to see the different collections that I create for each of my presentations. Feel free to browse through any of those, but I moved the one for today up to the top under webinar resources so that you're able to open that up very easily. And I will share the link for you guys real quick. All right, well, I'm going to add that into the chat right after we get through this part. But you'll see when you open up this collection, different extensions that you can click on and add it to your toolbar. So for example, the first one we have here is one that I'm going to show you how to add an extension to your toolbar. When you click on the Grammarly Chrome extension, it is going to take you to the website on it. And hold on a second. Sorry about that. I actually I added something additional to it after I had first created this. Here we go. So Checker Plus for Gmail. So we go there, it takes us to the Chrome store, and you can do a search, and Eddie mentioned a little bit about this, being able to go in and do a search for different types of extensions. Do be careful because some of them have malware attached to them, so make sure it's a reputable extension before you install it. And also keep in mind, as much as I love extensions, they do decrease your speed if you have too many of them. So you don't want to you want to make sure you have the extensions that you love, get rid of ones that you're not using so that your browsing speed doesn't slow down. But I am going to just click on Add to Chrome. And now you click Add Extension. And now it appears over here in my toolbar. So you'll see the little symbol that's been added. So for this one, you are able to, now you'll notice I just got a notification. You get the notifications so that you do not have to open up a different window to go and check your email, and you can see if it's something important that just came in. All right, some other ones that I want to share with you. This one, Netflix Party. So when you go to Netflix Party, it gives you an opportunity to watch a movie in real time with other people, and it also gives you an opportunity to invite people to your Netflix party. I'm going to install it so you see what happens. So now I have the NP up here in my toolbar, and I'm able to invite people into the same movie. If you have to pause it to go to the restroom or to go make more popcorn, it pauses for everyone, but you're able to chat, to have a little side chat while you're watching the movie. My niece had her 13th birthday a few weeks ago, and my sister was, of course, so bummed out for her that her 13th birthday was going to be spent in, stay-at-home orders. So I shared this extension with her, and all of her friends were able to watch a movie together, and they had a blast, being able to talk in the sidelines too. So that's just something bonus. You could use it for an educational video or just use it for something fun like this. All right, another extension is Wakelet. Wakelet is, like I showed you before, it's a way of curating and collecting information. So if you're on a website and you want to add it to a collection, you're able to click on the Wakelet button. Instead of having to go copy that link and paste it into Wakelet, it automatically gives you the option to add it to your Wakelet collection. So say, for instance, if I were on let's just do NCLA's website. And once that loads, I realize that I want to add that to a Wakelet collection. I click, and it will give me an option to see which collection I want to add it to. So I would just put save to one of these, and then that window goes away. And now that's a part of your collection. You can access it later. One that I absolutely wish had been around when I was working on my college, my master's degree, or even in high school is the Google Scholar button. For Google Scholar, once you've added that to your Chrome, you're able to click on this and do a search. So for example, I'll just put technology extension. Okay, now I do a search without having to go to a different window. I am able to decide, oh yeah, this was the one I was looking for before. I already know that it's a reputable source, and because it's on Google Scholar, I can click on the quotation marks, and now I can just copy which reference I want to use. So if I'm using MLA or I'm required to use APA, I don't have to go through and type it out and make sure I have everything in the correct place. I'm just copying this and adding this, and you can go down here and put EndNote. So there's a lot that you can do with that with Google Scholar as well. And it really does, it eliminates any of your fake news or any advertisements when you're using Google Scholar. So that makes it, even an extra bonus for you to share that out, or to use yourself or to share with students. Another extension that I really appreciate is Mercury Reader. For Mercury Reader, you're able to get rid of all of the side distractions that are on a page. So before I clicked on the extension, there's all of this extra stuff that comes up. So especially if I were looking up news, I'm just going to put COVID-19 news. And when I go to one of these sites, there's most likely going to be extra stuff that comes up that you may not necessarily want to see. You want to stay focused. So click here. The ads go away, everything goes away. And it's also really handy if you're going to print out that page. For some reason, it will make it none of the extra stuff will show up. So you'll save some ink too. All right, and if you're not using Grammarly, Grammarly was a lifesaver when I wrote my first book, The Martians in Your Classroom. My mother, as a former language arts teacher, I would have her edit stuff for me all the time. And finally she said, you should just download Grammarly, because it's really going to help catch some of these really simple errors that you make. So when you go to Grammarly, I can decide that I want a new document here. But you're able to basically just check to make sure that you're not making simple mistakes. And it also, if you have it installed into your Chrome bar, if you are doing a Gmail or social media post, it will have a little dot at the bottom that alerts you that you have an error. And then you click on it, it goes to this page, and you're able to fix the error. So if you look at some of the ones that I've, let's see. If I go into my Grammarly, for example, here is one that I was putting together for the newsletter for NCLA, and I'm able to see the correctness, the clarity, the engagement level, the delivery. It gives you all of these different pieces to let you know if there's some things that you need to look for. You can also find out by clicking at the bottom if there's any plagiarism. So if you're like me and you take little notes in a notepad and you can't remember if it was something someone else said or that you read somewhere, or if it was something that was your idea, you can click on the plagiarism button, and it will let you know how much of your information is unique or how much of it may have been from another source. And it will even show you those sources so you can see where else it shows up. So that can also be really handy if you're grading a paper. You can just post it into it and find out if there is plagiarism. And oh, there you go, 7% matches something else. So, pretty common verbiage, but it does let you know that. All right, this one, just not sorry. This is a neat one if you're, especially for maybe students who are too passive or apologetic in their speech. If you're writing an email, it will underline words that maybe sound like weak language. So if you're using words that it's not strong and you want to have an email that sounds confident, this will let you know that you need to choose some different words for it. So definitely recommend that one if that's something you want to make sure that your language is strong. Netflix party, we already talked about this one. Amazon, right now we are having a lot of things ordered and delivered to us. And sometimes you may be working on something and you remember you were supposed to order something. You click, you don't have to go to a new window. It's already attached to your account. So I'm able to add in that I forgot that I need some artichoke.